has been a significant interest in the point of origin of man. What was that period? What was that year? What was that thing from which man originated? From which life come about? Life came about. We want to know from where do we come from? What is that thing that gave us birth? When we talk about origin, when we talk about birth, can that origin take place independently, take place on its own without interacting with its surroundings, without having an equation with its environment? Does anything originates, comes to life by itself? Whatever we see, any physical thing that has a form is dependent on another thing to come into origin, to arrive into existence. For a thing to be, it has to interact with its surroundings, with its environment, and through that interaction, through that causation, a thing is originated, a thing comes to existence. There are multiple interactions that takes place simultaneously, and it is from these simultaneous equations that anything comes to existence. And similarly, that has been the story with man also. Anything that has a physical form, including the human, has to be dependent on its surroundings to originate, to come into form, to have a structure that can be seen, touched, felt, or heard. Whatever we see outside in the physical universe is dependent on some other thing, be it water, be it land, be it soil, be it a tree. Everything has, everything can be divided, broken down into its components. There is a seed, and the seed forms a tree, and then tree has its branches, leaves, flowers, and so you can simply break down a tree to all of these multiple parts through which a seed will come. And from where does the seed come? Seed also comes with its interaction with, through soil, through whatever various life forms or interaction that it goes through in the ground, that it originates, it comes into existence. Anything that we can see is simply a form of its own multiple little elements. Water in itself is a form of two gases, and those two gases have further their own forms, their own elements, their own molecules, their own chemical composition. All of these compositions form something, and it is these multiple elements, these multiple substances, molecules, that react with each other and form the physical universe that we see in front of our eyes, that we experience. everything is originated from some other thing. Everything is a part, is a form of multiple reactions and equations that has taken place over a period of time. So to say that anything has an intrinsic nature, that any physical substance, element, form has originated by itself would not be true. There is no intrinsic origination that takes place. The entire cosmos is in a movement of relationship with each other, with each substance, with every element. There are multiple forms of equations that are going on, which takes their physical form that we are able to perceive with our eyes. To hear a sound, a form of noise interacts with silence to give us a sound. To see what we are seeing, there has to be a background against it for us to see. For me to see this hand, there has to be a foreground, a background on which I can see it, and the background, the tree, the leaf, is in a relationship with the horizon, and ultimately the horizon can only be seen when there is a seer, when there is the observer. We can break down any element to its last atom, to its last quark, but for that quark to even exist, there has to be an observer to claim its existence. And it is this interaction of the observable universe and the observer that this whole cosmos really comes into being. Everything is in relationship to every other thing. There is no independent origination that we see anywhere when it comes to the observable universe. Everything has a dependent origin. There is no independent, isolated thing, reality, which exists separately from its own surroundings, from its fundamental elements. And so essentially there is no intrinsic nature to any of the thing that we, to any of the element thing that we observe from our eye. The tree is really not the tree. What we see is only, what we see in form of a tree is a part of the story. Most of it is the air, the carbon dioxide that is concentrated, which we come to see through our eye. The tree is an interaction between the land and the air, and what we see in front of us is the form which we are familiar with. That form cannot exist on its own. That form is simply a part of a bigger whole. The form of the tree which we are familiar with, which we know, is simply a part of a story. a stage in a forever going process, a forever active movement. There is no independent existence of the tree, and that is true for anything, even for this body. This body is a result of millions of years of interaction between water, land, air, soil, and from that, this body as we see it has emerged. There is no intrinsic nature of the body. It is simply a form that we have come to associate ourselves with. There is no innate reality to the physical observable universe that we exist in. What we see are just ever changing forms. This body in itself, being a form, sees a different kind of form, which we call leaf, which we call a tree, which we call a building, which we call a wall, etc. The multiple physical forces are interacting with each other all the time. There is no one intrinsic thing which is reacting with another intrinsic thing. All the forms that we see that exist physically, that can be grasped by our senses, are simply different forms of the same movement, and that is the ever changing movement of relationship. We can see a black dot on a paper because there is the paper for the black dot to be perceived, and then for the paper to exist there has to be a background for us to see the paper, and for the background to exist there has to be a horizon, and for the horizon to exist there has to be an observer to see that horizon. And it is this multiply complex relationship that forms our physical reality. And the problem arises when we simply attach ourselves to this ever changing physical reality that has no one definite form, that has no intrinsic nature of its own. Everything is dependent on every other thing, and when we relate, when we depend on these already dependent things, we open the gates for suffering, for sorrow. When we rely on a person, when we rely on something for inward security, when we rely on a social structure, a house, a relationship to give us an inward stability, a security, what we fail to see is that we are relying on something that is intrinsically not it. It is an ever changing form, and to cling to that which is not is simply to cling to an illusion, to an idea of something. We really have to, for ourselves, dig down, find out the nature of who we are and our relationship with the outside physical reality. If we take it for what it appears to be, if we simply have a superficial relationship with it, there will always be a fight for security. We will always depend on things that are inevitably going to alter, to change, to disappear even. How intelligent is it then to depend, to cling on to that which is impermanent, which is changing in form? How intelligent it is to have a relationship with one form only to realize that it will change into some other form. Do we really associate ourselves with our needs and demands we had when we were 5 years old? Our demands and needs simply change according to the form that we have. They are not our fundamental requirement. The needs of a 5-year-old differ from the needs of a 25-year-old, not because they too are inwardly different, but because their form is at a different stage. The form of a 5-year-old would only have its matching needs and desires with the form of another 5-year-old, and similarly the case with the 25-year-old. The one who is in their mid-20s would have the same needs, desires, wants as another 25-year-old. These demands, these needs are simply arising from the physical form that we have at the moment, and it is going to change. The amount of water that a tree requires versus the amount of water that a sapling requires is inherently different, and their needs and wants simply depend upon their outward structure. With the human being, their inward demand is of understanding, is of a deeper comprehension of themselves and the world they see with their eye, the world they experience. To have a superficial relationship with our surroundings, with who we are, is to miss out on the chance to completely comprehend the complete reality of life. And it is in this comprehension that there is no suffering, that there is no conflict, that there is no inequality. We have to come upon that integrating factor which harmonizes our relationship with ourselves and with the world. Because if we are deeply fragmented, all our relationships would simply be an expression, an extension of those fragments, and we'll only find ourselves divided, torn between multiple things. The harmony, the peace within, that integrating factor is our essential requirement. We have to understand ourselves, this life, the reality of existence. We have to solve this puzzle of the cosmos, which as it exists now seems only to be in a great sense of conflict and differences. There is no binding quality, there is no oneness in the life that we are living, because we depend simply on the things that are themselves dependent on other things. We will find that our life is a complete mess. There is no independence, freedom in the life that we are living. We are simply a slave to our physical structure, the bodily demands, the demands of the society, the pressures from outside, the influences that we are subjected to. We simply oblige to what is expected from us, to what is an already established route. We conform to the norm, because in our life we do not have that deep insight which would enable us to see life as it is, without any division, without any influence or according to a pattern. We will see things for what they are, not how we want them to be, not how we desire them to be. We have to strip ourselves from our pre-existing beliefs and the superficial nature that our life is accustomed to. One has to get their hands dirty, one has to dive into the complexities of living without grappling, without fighting it out, our inward conflicts, miseries, the reality of our desires. We will find that we are perpetually running from ourselves. We need to escape from our own reality, from who we are. Our life will simply be conformed to a pattern, a popular structure. There would be nothing creative about it. We would be simply an imitation, a duplicate, second hand copy. There would be no authenticity in our life if we do not find what life is, who we are, and simply go on the tracks that are laid in front of us, that are too familiar and easy and convenient to walk on. That intrinsic quality from which all the universe emerges from which originality comes from, that origin, we have to discover that for ourselves. Not because we should be doing it or it is something good to have in our life, but because it is our fundamental requirement. That is what we really need in our life, because without that, life is simply utterly meaningless. There is no real substance to life. We would confuse these ever changing physical forms as life. We would begin to call this multiple chain reactions and interactions of physical things as life, but we'll find that it is only matter which appears in multiple different forms. And to live life as matter, as material, is to miss out on the real essence of life, from which every conceivable thing originates. We can engage ourselves in this material interaction of things, of one physical form reacting with another physical form, but we'll find, in spite of all the stimulation, the excitement that we experience, no experience actually suffices. No experience is at the end of the day enough to address the fundamental, the innate discontentment that we feel within. Only the human can touch, see, come in contact with that point from where all existence emerges from, that is innate, that has, that is intrinsic, that pervades all the cosmos, that is present in every little thing, from the human body to the grain of the soil. It is that essence of which the entire universe is made out of. Only the human has the ability to come close to it and submerge itself with it. It is this oneness which defines life, which is life. And without this oneness, there is only disintegration, conflict, difference, a state of unrest within.